Hi, it's Sonia and welcome back to my art channel. Today's going to be, I'm putting together sort of like a bit of an artist vlog, I guess, with a little bit of, there's one process video also intermingled into it, but there is a look through quite a lot of work. It's like Thursday now, so from the weekend. I did also do the urban sketching was at the weekend as well actually, but there's a video on that, so I'm not going to look through that material again. So yeah, I think this is a pretty accurate showing of what I've been up to. And this one I've been just working on this morning. And I'm still keeping to my whole, I like to prepare end of day, or if I'm not talking about like not having energy, I like to prepare pages ahead of time, so cover them. I don't think I've used all my pages now, but you know, just put two colours down, let it dry. Then this morning I've just come on and sort of drawing from memory. I'm going to probably put some flowers in there. I bought some oranges from the grocery shop yesterday, so I've just added that in, those sumo oranges. So I'm enjoying this sort of style of work. I think I show this one a lot, so that's fine. Okay, so I'm just going to go on with the video, and then at the end I'm going to show a few pieces that are featured in the video that I've actually made changes to, because just that's how it goes. Okay, it's Monday, and I thought I would just show a few things I did over the weekend, and also to be honest, because I spoke, you know, I might even get rid of that video. I feel like maybe I wasn't fully well, so I was a little bit down on acrylic inks, and but you know, this is the point with you can feel differently at different times, and also to give things, you know, I gave them a go again, and I used a brush. I've kept it relatively simple. I think I found a way that actually I really do like working with them, so I just wanted to share that because yeah, and it was influenced by the sort of got a book on seaweed from the library, and I was just looking at forms and coming in with, I used I think it was like quite a flat brush, and there's something about, maybe I just wanted a bit of simplicity at the weekend. I don't know, I just really like these. I've got a hair on it, as always. And then they worked really well in the, and this is meant to be my abstract altered sketchbook, but on this paper, I really like how it felt. I think this was where I first used them. I was like, oh, I like the fact I'm just making up these sort of fronds, and I'm really enjoying just how the ink plays. That sort of depth and that colour. So then I went on to just working on individual, just, you know, drawing paper, A4 here, different colours. Yeah, you can see I got on a theme. I thought they might be quite fun as prints or in the future. At the moment I'm just making work because I'm experimenting, but I could see, I don't know, these are quite nice shapes, visually interesting. And while I'm on the floor, I'll just show, then I've also been just playing this weekend, when I've had time in the studio, just playing around, coming in the mornings or the evenings, and using all these bits of paper that I just add to, and they change. And I like that. And using up those bits of acrylic, like there's acrylic in the middle here, just seeing what happens when I put gel pen on the top in different media, and then going around it. I had some leftover, I've been using up some gouache. So yeah, and I'll probably, like, you know, so I've still got these to do. Then over here, this was like drawing sort of, I've got some tulips in the kitchen, but I should take a picture because they're fading. But I wanted to draw from memory. And we went to IKEA at the weekend, which was always a funny trip. It's so busy and it takes ages to get around, even though you only want one or two things. And I just saw these vases and I was like, well, I don't need any vases at the moment, to be honest with you. Even though they're, but I like the shapes. I thought I'm going to make my own imaginary flowers this weekend. And this is from actually a drawing on above my desk. I'm taking down some of the artwork so I can refresh the desk. So there's a lot of kind of drawing from memory and just making some still lifes up, because I enjoy that. It's creative, and a lot of the time, as I've talked about before, I don't want to paint necessarily my the sort of ceramics and vases I have again and again. I need to sort of vary it. Oh, I found these bits of paper. So I was coming back to these sort of imaginary, more sort of imaginary landscapes. I'm just playing about with. So this was when I used, I don't know if you can see it, but it's like metallic Japanese watercolours. I'm just adding some, I had the Neo Colour 2s out. There is one bit, hold on, where is it? Here. I got them out because I did some, from photographs, just quick. I had limitation. My limitation was to use this set of gouache that I'm getting through, Artesian gouache. I haven't got all the colours. It's making me just use it thickly, get out some colours. I'm not worrying about, they're really boring photos to be honest with you, but it's kind of how can I sort of, I guess it's like sort of illustrate, my sort of practicing sort of more of an illustrative style, but it's quick, it's fun. The only thing is I have to let the gouache, has to be done in stages because the gouache needs to dry before I can come on top. But that's fine, I'm happy with that. And then lastly, before I finish this section, yeah, here's some more. This is where I've been, you know when you have a brush and there's still paint on it, like I've just been splodging it to get rid of but I kind of like these sort of haphazard marks, and then I was just building out. As I've talked about before, for me, I need to make different types of art at different moments, and that's just how I guess it's more of a restorative, sort of relaxing, enjoyable process for me. But yeah, that's it for now. Okay, this segment I thought I would just quickly review a bit of art just to show how I'm using, like going back to books, I think at the moment basically for inspiration, and sort of more art books and also reference books, just books I borrow from the library, because I think like a lot of people, I am getting less wanting to go to the internet for inspiration. I'm definitely wanting to, as it were, I don't know, it's that whole things I can put my hand on to get inspiration from. So this is my like ongoing loose, I don't want to call it landscape and still life sketchbook. Some pages I like, some I don't. I quite like this page. I pre-prepared this sort of like purpley ochre background, and then I came onto it I think yesterday. I've added over it different times, but it was kind of like my whole other sort of way of loosening up is to draw from memory. And so I thought about what have I got on the kitchen table. We had some, I could say these clementines are like not the best, so I sort of remembered those. I thought I'm going to add those in. We've got passion fruit from the garden, which are really good. It's not quite the right colour, is it really? They're not quite so lime at the moment, but anyway, they sort of fell off the vine. I've got some new coffee cups from IKEA and tumblers, so I was like, look, you can't let's get rid of a few things, donate to charity. So we had this, and my husband agreed with that, this sort of pink, it's not quite like this, but a pink cup that I think I can let go. I don't, so I was just trying to like have a bit of a declutter. I was thinking about when I was at IKEA, I was like, I was tempted to get another water jug, but I've got carafes, so I don't know why, I just thought I'd put a carafe in there. And then I just made, okay, this is my little made up segment. I'm going to probably come in and add, I like to make my own ceramics and vases up. And yeah, and then I got from the library, Mojave Desert wildflowers, and because it's kind of like image heavy, we did go on a few years ago now to the national park, and so it's also interesting to see what maybe some of these shrubs and plants were, and I just kind of like them for the forms of the flowers. When I get a bit bored of drawing flowers I know myself from memory, it's a good way of just adding in, I don't know, I feel like I've painted sort of the tulips I had so many times. I don't really want to do tulips again, but I just didn't know what flower forms to do. So that's just a quick idea segment. What I thought I would do now is a fun process, because as I talked about in the other part of the video, I kind of regret being so negative about these acrylic inks. I think it's because I wasn't feeling 100%, so I was probably a little bit not the most, I don't know. Sometimes I think when you're not, what it's shown me is, and I didn't realise that I was still not quite right, what it's shown me is how you feel about your art can often be due to internal things as well, or how you're just, if you're under the weather, if what sort of mood you're in. So I came back, as I said, I really got into, I like using this ink, and also maybe it was using different brushes as well. What I found was before, I don't think I'm going to enjoy, but I'll never say never now, I don't think I really enjoyed drawing with it. I mean, I want to get a few more dip pens, because my dip pens are clogged up, or get some new nibs. But I worry with acrylic ink, would you probably gunk them up? But what I have found is I like using them with these sort of just relatively cheap flat brushes. I think the other problem was I was using more watercolour brushes, and this one didn't work as well when I was trying to paint with it. I think I like having the control of a more synthetic, cheaper brush in some ways. Yeah, and then the other fun thing to do, if anybody else is just quickly using up paint this year, who's maybe you've had a little bit of a reassess of your drawers, and you've found that you've got some older paints that have been sitting around. Maybe you can tell, even though you've got the top screwed on, they're getting thicker. A fun way of, once you've also got them out on your palette and you've finished maybe a traditional painting, is I like to just sort of do these sort of patchwork backgrounds, which I can then, sometimes I like the sort of whole boldness. Oh, it's stuck together. I'm trying to find a page where I haven't wanted to alter it. I always tend to fiddle, so I can't find it. Well, okay, let's just go to, but here, this is a bit like, I've added, this is Neocolor One crayon on top, but occasionally I'll do a very simple page, and I kind of like it. And I like the fact that you get to test colours against each other that you wouldn't normally do. Okay, I want to keep in this one though, to just quickly with you. And these sort of spreads were influenced by this little book I've been looking at. I mean, it's a very loose. These are my own, it's sort of influenced by the forms, but at the same time, I like how you can sort of abstract them. Yet, you know, I know a lot of us I do need sometimes a little bit of visual inspiration just to help me get going. So, yeah, and because I'm not precious about, this is, when do I use this one? These paints. It means I just go straight in. Okay, this brush, which you probably shouldn't do. You should have a properly clean brush. But anyway, as I say, I'm gonna have to quickly also, another tip is, I've got loads of these clips, which to keep the page down. And you can just go in and have some fun. So I guess this one is going to be influenced a little bit by the page. This is very quick art that's great to do as a warm-up, just to get you going. If you're, which I can do, procrastinating. And also I know people have, and I get this, commented in the past, I really do understand that feeling of, oh my gosh, it's like you don't want to stop because you don't want to waste or use things. But at the end of the day, like, especially if you've got, because you've got these books and sketchbooks, what happens if you want to just let them sit there, or maybe you've got some, cheap books at reality, and if they go to a charity shop, they're going to get pulped. You could use the paper for collage, maybe they're damaged. If you see people chucking out books, you can give them a new life if they've just left them outside for free. That's how I found some in Switzerland. And then you feel, because there's so many pages in them, I feel happier like leaving them relatively unfinished, or there's sometimes I leave space, sometimes I make them really, I'm doing things that I wouldn't normally do because I don't know, I just feel a lot freer and less inhibited. And I just assume it's because I'm feeling a lot better, but I feel much more positive as well about some of these pages. I like to look at them. They're sort of inspiring me. And if anyone's getting down on you for, I don't know, the other thing is to be aware of is if you feel guilt from, I don't know, what other people might think, I always like to, well, one, I would not criticise other people's hobbies, but a lot of the time these people who've got other hobbies, like it's not like their hobbies are any less wasteful or intensive in terms of using resources or time. For example, baking, like it's amazing when people do these wonderful, are really into baking, but and you wouldn't begrudge someone who's getting their creativity out in that way. Or knitting, scrap, I don't know, even people, so I love running, but running uses, you have to change your shoes and travel to get to, if you're doing races. In the grand scheme of things, I think so, yeah, but just because I saw that comment, I was like, oh, I know that feeling. That's a lot of the time why I never used to be free, or I'd kind of end up hoarding supplies because I felt so worried about using them, because in terms of, oh, another artist would make better use of them. This isn't proper art. But I also saw a video, someone someone's like those sort of thrift, when people go thrifting, and this this lady went to an estate sale, and it was an artist estate sale. I want to come in, this is a bit more complicated, maybe because I'm videoing it than I would normally do. She went to like an artist estate sale, like this house, and there were loads of like ink bottles and old art supplies, like so much. And while that was kind of wonderful to see, there's a little bit of it, so much was left over. I don't know, it's kind of, why? I don't think I could even use all my stuff up before so yes, you can get passed on, but, and I'm sure that person also did loads of art and used their art materials, but I think through experimenting, then we can also find the sort of materials that we do want to invest in the future, but maybe this is now going off on my own tangent, probably because I'm talking while doing it. I have to say, I am less inclined to do process videos while talking, because I always feel like it never quite goes. Obviously for workshops I'm going to, but then I sort of would practice. But I much prefer just showing the work and then discussing what I've done. Anyway, I hope you're painting along. These shapes keep coming up. Yeah, so this is obviously much more complicated than my other pages, and sometimes less is more. Sometimes. Other times, more is fun. And I like going a bit crazy because, oh, what I have learned is, so I could with this as well, so then you can just test out. So that's interesting. Sort of the transparency. Where is my other sketchbook? Let me just quickly, this is so quick. I think I'm going to leave this here. But, where do I put it? Yeah, I'm going to have to move this. Oh, the other thing I unfortunately learned about acrylics inks is they're so fluid. They went through some drawing paper and then stuck to my floor. So I had fun, or not fun, trying to clear that up this morning. Okay, so yeah, here we go. This is another acrylic ink. It's just growing. I just wanted to experiment with letting the colours bleed a little. I love that. But yeah, using a thicker brush for me is what has helped me be a bit happier with them. Influenced by the seaweed book. Hold on, what am I showing? Oh, this one. Yes, this is a page I showed, and I did it last week when I wasn't feeling 100%, and it just, well, I showed it actually with the acrylic ink. I'm not sure if I might delete that video, because I feel like it was a bit chaotic and I was all over the place. But anyway, the point is, I came over with the red, and then now what I'm doing is, when I feel like it, I like to just jump around from page to page. So a lot of these pages are not finished, but they're just there for me, depending on my day, my mood, what I fancy trying out on the pages. But this is fun with like acrylic pens on top. I'm really having a little bit of, I kind of like, I'm not saying it's anything, but I'm having fun with it. It's an opportunity to just keep pushing and pushing pages. Yeah, and I like how they're all really different. This spread I like a lot, and it was a disaster because it was the acrylic ink and it had stuck. I think it actually, literally the pages stuck together. And then I've just come on top with some, I cut up. I do these bits, I've shown them before. Often I get really fed up with these pieces and they go no further, and then I just cut them up for, you know, I keep a little box of collage material. So then I collage on top. And yeah, I'm leaving this because I kind of like, reminds me of the whole, you know, posters and ripping the layers of poster, but yet there's some bits that are very graphic. Other areas are more layered. So yes, and that, so just to say, I want to be like positive, like on the acrylic inks. I can see how I can make these ones work for me. So I don't think I will be getting rid of them yet because they're quite fun just to have to play about with in a sort of a loose fashion. I don't think I'm going to be doing traditional drawing or painting with them though, quite frankly. Okay, to finish this video off, I thought I would just show this sketchbook and how I have been fiddling with a few of the pieces of art I showed earlier in the video. So still going heavy with some gouache on these pages, and I've got to be honest, I like these two spreads, and I don't think I'm going to alter them. I like the feel of the gouache and the crinkliness. This one, because I didn't love this spread so much, I was like, well, this is a chance to experiment with pen on top of this acrylic ink. So yeah, there's a lot of mark making going on there, and then I don't know, it was just a way of exploring. And that one I added a few more, that's crayon too. Then here I wanted to quickly show, okay, this was going really heavy with some gouache. I just added a bit of red. Sometimes with pieces, as I say, I like to come back and then I'm like, I don't know why, I just I just felt it needed something there, but I'm not sure I'll add any more to that one. These pages, this one is just going to grow and I'll finish it off. I kind of like the fact it's completely, you know, like those intricate doodle sheets, I guess. There's something about it. It's also quite relaxing to do. Okay, and then lastly, I have also been doing a little bit of observational, increasingly now sort of feeling more like I want to concentrate. So yeah, this is my Anything Goes journal. I need to find another sketchbook just to do drawing people. I kind of like to sometimes have categories for sketchbooks. I don't know why, that just works really well for me at the moment. And I still find these pieces of paper, often that was on the front of my, up on my desk or the wall above my desk. So this was a palette from acrylic gouache, and then I saw a landscape emerge. So I just would like to do more with abstracted landscapes. That's the sort of, I love, and I kind of like it when they sort of emerge haphazardly from what were otherwise sort of palette sheets, or just, it actually feels like they're better when I do that sort of accidental. And then I think I was using doesn't look like me, but just quickly trying to draw from, yeah, with a pen, like being brave, like how can we, sometimes I want to do pencil, other days I just want to get in there, and even though it's not going to be accurate, I want to practice making mistakes and not being afraid to use ink straight away. Okay, so that was my week. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you've been making some work with me. Yeah, I hope your art practice is going well. It's only the beginning of the year, so it's good to keep it low pressure. And then, yeah, hopefully I'll be back next week with maybe a video or two. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you then. Bye.